Hello, everybody. This is Stefan at the Pleiadian Institute. I'm in Geneva, and I'm connected today with Dan, who's in California. And I will do a quick recap of what we did in the previous meditations. It's very important to do these recaps and to keep practicing over and over again. So remember about the visualization that we worked on the earlier meditations. At the apex of a triangle that we imagine, there is our symbol for love, and we chose the sun. On the right corner of the triangle is you, and on the left corner of the triangle is everything that's in your awareness, in your consciousness. And this can expand. You can include anybody, any structure, any organization, any group that you would like to include in this corner. And you will see that between these three corners, you will start feeling a relationship growing little by little. So Dan, can we start?
We can. Thank you, Stefan. So take a moment. This is the sixth of these small conversations in consciousness that we're having. And appropriately, 6 is the number of group. It's the number of family. So we'll take what we've done so far and we'll demonstrate how it can move into a greater expansion as family grows with it. Relax. Breath is the basis of life and the basis of our process, because once you have visualized a triad, and the purpose of that triad is to establish and develop a relationship to love and bring that love into a relationship with you and with everything that you have in your field of awareness, everything in your life, so that the triangle of love circulates through everything you have. And as we do this, breath becomes the engine. As you take in a breath, you charge yourself with that love. At the top of the breath, you let it expand out into every part. And as you exhale it through the mind, you bring it down into your field of awareness and everything in it. And then you, at the bottom of the breath, as you prepare for the next, you let go and let everyone have the best you have to offer. That's all you can do, is give the best you have. And once we include the relationship of love itself as a living presence sharing our life with us, we begin to understand that the best you can offer might be extraordinarily good. Instead of duplicating, go ahead, Stefan. Stefan and I are kind of back.
And then you were telling me that this is a little practice that we can use also, is whenever we have somebody on the phone or we talk to somebody, is to really include them in this process that we are working on.
That's a good point. We're not proselytizing, because this is not a religion. It's not a philosophy. It's a process of developing relationship, and it's personal to you. If someone wants to do it, you can help them like we're helping you. But when you talk to somebody on the phone, or you wake up in the morning and do your own process for a few moments to establish love and you in the day, you can include others with it. The moment you pick up a phone because someone answered it, and the moment you know who it is, they're suddenly in that. And that's your best reminder that you have forgotten to do this. You've forgotten love. You won't notice it because it slips out quietly, like one of your kids or your cat. But all of a sudden, when the phone rings and you pick it up, you realize whoever's on the other end needs love, and it puts it back in your awareness. And you hold it there while you're having conversation, and it runs its cycle and it has its effect and benefit. Now let's think about this for a moment along the lines of family. Take a moment with Stefan and I to join the three of us together into one group relationship in our corner, each of us, and let it build in the corner of love, and let it flood over and into you, and through you, let it flood over and into all things in your awareness. And now expand your awareness. You're not limited. There is no limit. Expand it out to include the whole planetary embrace. It's not all aware of you, and you're not aware of every part of it. But by simply connecting outward, love is beginning to include everything automatically, because that's its mission, that's its purpose. So we surround the planet with it, and we hold temporarily a little vision of our own, which sees everyone able to do this. There isn't anyone that can't do this. There isn't anyone in a condition where they don't deserve it, where love will ignore them, where nothing will work for them. Not possible anywhere. So we include everything, and we visualize and imagine for a moment everyone drawing in the same source, the same love, the same inclusiveness, the same sharing. And then we begin for a moment to see the vision that love holds for Earth itself. Earth, one tiny, unimportant planet in one galaxy of one part of the universe of love. It's so small, and yet it's so real to us and to love and to the potential for this transformation. And we may think there's not enough power for this, but the same power that pushes a green shoot up through concrete or blacktop to reach the sun is in every human heart. Every human heart is reaching upward to the sun. It hungers for it. It simply does not know how to do it. It doesn't know what will work, because it's looking within itself, within its own ego, for something that is not there. It lies outside of a separative concept, but is pushing. And once you give it something to work with, once, as we have given ourselves a small triangle, we put love where it belongs at the top. And we recognize that we are not everything, and we receive it. And we recognize that others need it, and we give it. How simple is that? And it takes you out of having to be the author of something that is infinitely greater than your own ego. You can grow into it. You can become totally and completely immersed in love and in loving it. But for now, we are building ourselves towards it. And that's easy to do. Easy. Feel that power in your own heart, hungering to connect with that which is greater than itself, that which everyone shares, that which has been nurturing the world from the eternal now, since the beginning of time. This group embrace carries everything in it we need. The only disease in the world is a lack of realization of love. People are afraid because they don't know where it is. They've lost faith in its existence. If they ever believed that it did exist, they have relegated love to an emotional passion. They have lost a sense of contact with the livingness that is at their very core. If you give them a breath of it, a feeling of it, suddenly the surge, upward surge of strength will crack the hardest shell. It will crack my shell and Stefan's and yours and everyone's, and the sunlight, the streaming light of spiritual coexistence with love floods in.
And then when we talk about group and group consciousness and group love, I know sometimes there are some fears that arise about losing identity and losing ourselves in the group. And in the end, we realize that it's more about getting energized by a group, right?
It's one of the great barriers between love and humanity, is this illusion of loss of your individuality. As far as anyone of spiritual consequence can determine, and this includes the great beings, individuality is a permanent condition. Even the solar system, our solar life, as vast as it is, evolved as it is, has its own individuality among the billions of suns that it shares the heavens with. There is no end to your growth in relationship to love. Perhaps at some place in it, you may choose or desire to surrender that. That's entirely up to you. When we reach the edge of what we are, we have to surrender it to take a step into something greater than what we are. That's our choice. That's the freedom of life. That's why love never imposes. It only responds to your desire. It offers itself for your growth. Now, I can't tell you, love can tell you. I don't know what love knows, but my sense of creation is that individuality is permanent. Everything else will change, and your individuality will grow into deeper and deeper expansions. And as we become one family, your individuality does not disappear. It just takes on more responsibility for that family. And you know it because you look at your own. In your family, when you developed, before you had a family, you had individuality. When you have a family, whether it's 3 children and a mate, or 5 or 7, you still have your own individuality, but they are suddenly part of it. They're part of your awareness, part of your group. And then if you take on more in your nation, your national group, that's your family. But you didn't lose your individuality. When you take on your race, when you take on all of humanity, you simply take on the responsibility of them upon your individuality to serve them. So I see no end in sight to individuality, but I do see greater and greater responsibility and love. And when you're giving love to the world as the panacea for its ills and helping them to understand how to use it to free themselves, the joy that increases in you makes it a wonderful task. So to bring ourselves, unless you have something more to add, Stefan, to what I just said.
No, we can go ahead.
Let's take a moment and just be at peace with ourselves, letting the flood of that one life, it lives in the eternal now. It cannot leave the eternal now, but you can become part of it, and then it can enter you. And then it claims your territory. It claims your island of separation and joins it to the ocean of love. And then through you and through others, love penetrates, absorbs, and becomes part of the human race. And then we add it to our group individuality and our personal individualities, and we begin to solve problems that are simple for love to solve. There are no impossible problems. In fact, there were no problems until we didn't know how to solve them because we lacked a relationship to love. So we grew in the wrong direction, created problems. So we're just going back to the basics of love and fixing the things that we broke. So we take this energy in and we let it come through us, and we expand our awareness to include all of humanity at this moment of its crises, and realize that's why this crisis is here. There is no other purpose in a love-based universe except to bring that which is not connected to love into harmony with it, into union with it. And it will work. And fear will dissipate. And the idea that we must fight an endless war against nature, against life, will fade out as we realize we are the ultimate vaccine within ourselves. It's inside of you. Love will show you how to charge yourself with whatever you need. Take breaths. Strengthen your joy at discovering your relationship to that which lives forever, endlessly, fueling, charging, engaging the entire universe in one single unity of love. And when you forget to do it again. Put it back again. When you start in the morning, take a few moments in the morning to establish, I woke up, now it's back, and I'm going to hold it for a few moments and establish it in my day. And when I forget it in the day, I would like to be reminded. Ask love to remind you through the day to go back and grow your relationship. And it'll remind you 1,000 times in 1,000 ways. It'll remind you by recognizing need for love in someone else, in yourself, how love transforms hatred, how love transforms anger, how love transforms your own critical mind. Everything negative will remind you of love. Everything positive will remind you of love. You will be reminded and reminded and reminded until your relationship and love are one unified flow.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you, everybody, for following us through this meditation process. And we will see you at the next video.